Yep. Forced vacation. Got it. Yeah, we'll live with it. Board of Aldermen work session is now called to order. We only have one item on the agenda tonight. It's a stormwater plan, illicit discharge. Myra, is that you? Awesome. Chuck's not wearing a tie, so I figured it wasn't him. We miss Chuck's ties. They usually mean money, but.
That's this week.
I quickly, well, we're getting the PowerPoint ready. Chuck was gone at APWA all last week. I had no requests for expenditures on projects already this morning.
You wanna like do that screen?
Probably saved a bunch up for you.
Or they saved a bunch up for him, contractor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good evening. And as we have said already, this is not a change order. We're going to talk about illicit discharge, detection and elimination plan. The city of Smithfield holds a municipal separate storm sewer permit through the Department of Natural Resources, DNR. And as part of this permit, we have to meet certain, on all MS4s have to meet certain requirements and add some policies in place. So one of these requirements is having an illicit discharge detection and elimination plan. This plan is a guideline for staff that is involved in implementing these requirements of the MS4 permit, so that they are able to identify, report, investigate, and eliminate illicit discharge. So let's understand what illicit discharge is. Illicit discharge is a release of a non-stormwater substance or material into the stormwater drainage system. For instance, untreated sewage, painting, oil, etc. I put this picture on the left to show you what is the natural path of something that goes into the stormwater system. If it was rain, we have no problems. But if this was paint, it's going to go untreated to the creek, Little Platte River, and in the Missouri River, where fish and other natural resources live. So let's start with the plan. I put 4 main components. The first one is identification, and everyone can be part of this, staff and residents, through a scheduled inspection, or just by somebody from parks walking by the creek, or residents if they see something. It is important that if they see something oily, foamy, or something turbid, they should report it. And that's my next step is the reporting. So if a staff receive a call from a resident or from another staff saying that they think that there is an illicit discharge, there is a reporting form, where they will collect information like location, date, time, and other important information that will help us identify where this illicit discharge is located. Once this illicit discharge has been identified, then staff will follow multiple techniques to trace it and find where it begins. They will have another form, which is an investigation form, where they will follow and add more details, as in odor, color of the illicit discharge, pH, or there is a lot of checklists and other items in the checklist that will help them identify what type of illicit discharge this is. And once they have identified what type of illicit discharge this is, we will go to elimination. And that will depend on the type. If it's a hazardous material, then we will consider an emergency, and then we will coordinate with the fire district. As part of the plan, we have included the plan that the fire district has, so we can also follow it and contact them. If it is not hazardous material, then either the fire district or staff can eliminate it as long as it's 50 gallons. And then in the plan also, it will tell them what the steps to follow, and also who can they contact, like a third party to clean this mess. As part of the plan, we will have a change, an update in the ordinance that, as I mentioned, the reporting part is very important. So now we will ask residents, owners, or responsibles of a facility that if they know or are aware or suspect of an illicit discharge, they should report it to the city. Before, they didn't have that responsibility, so now they would. And that ordinance will be in the agenda for next meeting for approval. So that's coming up. The other item that DNR requires us to have is to have some sort of maintenance with HOAs or owners of best management practices, or also called detention basins, retention basins. And I will say HOA a lot because mainly HOAs are the ones that own these basins. And as part of this new initiative is that we will provide them with a maintenance schedule that they have to follow. For example, recommended mowing, when to reseed to prevent erosion, when to check for debris or trash, so everything looks nice and the basin wouldn't have any issues or structural issues as well. The second part of this is the annual inspections. Now they will have a checklist that they can follow, where they can, every year, once a year, the owner, the person in charge will have to go to the checklist and they will see if they are in compliance. And if they are not, then they will know and they will be able to fix it as well. The third thing is that they will require, we are now requiring them to request an inspection from the city every 2 years. As part of the permit, the city has to perform inspections in the basins. There is a specific percentage in the permit cycle, 60%. So this will help us to keep track and make sure that everyone is in compliance and keeping the basins clean. If as I said, the actual plan has more information, steps that the staff has to follow, more technical stuff, and staff will be receiving training on how to implement the plan and each detail in the next weeks or months. And you will have 2 ordinances in the next agenda. This one specifically of the maintenance of the best management practices will go first to the Planning and Zoning Commission for revision. And then once they approve it, then it will come for approval in the next meeting with the board. If you have any questions, the plan is in the packet. So you can let me know if you have any questions. We're happy to answer. Yes. Oh my God.
I have some questions.
Yes.
Thank you, Maya, for giving that presentation. We had talked a while back about HOA possibly having being able to put or responsible for putting some little tags, or I don't know if they were stickers, badges, what they were, that went by the sewer drains that said, you know, this is a
Drains to the river.
Yeah, drains to the river. What do you know whatever happened to that? I haven't heard anything else about it.
We had we acquired a bunch, and we had last year we had some with a Boy Scout.
Yeah, we had scouts do it.
Boy Scout troop anyway. Did a lot of them in the downtown area.
Okay.
And we still got more to do. But we've changed our specifications now that the casting, either the storm sewer manhole lid or the actual concrete will have a drains to stream emblem casted in it. So we've got to go back and still get some of those that haven't been done, but it's just a time and, you know.
Yeah, all the new ones are cast.
Yeah.
I didn't know if the HOAs needed to help out on that. I know we talked about it, but well, they can, I mean, I know that a couple HOAs have mentioned they would help.
It's not very hard. I mean, they're metal and you scrape it, liquid nail. seal it.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we can get that going. Also, did you say that the HOA is responsible for requesting the inspection every 2 years?
Yes. They will be.
Okay,
As of right now, they are not.
Which is very similar to our sump pump
Yes,
inspection process, right?
correct.
Well, on that flow.
Yeah.
Backflow, you mean?
Backflow, yeah.
So if they don't register,
Well, we have
We
an
know, Mark.
inventory.
We know you have.
We have an inventory in our GIS system.
not the sump pump. Not that.
We will know, plus DNR requests us to do an inspection of the 60% of them. So we will eventually get to them, I know. So it's better just to have a smoother process if they request it.
So if they had this retention pond, they
Mhm.
have to buy a permit for it?
They will have to have the permit once they build it. But now, so they have it, not, we, the city, have the permit. And then we enforce this as an extension of DNR. So no permit required.
So, question,
Mhm.
I live in a subdivision that's not an HOA.
Mhm.
And I don't know that there's a retention pond out there, is there?
Nope.
And there's not one in Lake Meadows either, is that correct? So we wouldn't have that inspection, is that correct? Okay,
Right, so when I say HOAs, it's because most of the basins are owned by HOAs. But I mean owners. Owners, whoever owns, even Price Chopper has one, whoever owns will be responsible for their basin. Mhm.
On your forms, are they gonna be online or do you have to come all the way down here?
We will have them
Okay.
online, yeah,
Good.
with instructions as well. The plan will be also available online once we have the training completed.
so I have another question.
Mhm.
So in the training process, now that we're moving to this detection and elimination plan for the whole city,
Mhm.
what type of education are we doing for the citizens or anything to let them know of this new process?
Well, so in the past newsletter or 2 newsletters ago, I put some information out about if you see something coming from a construction site that doesn't look right, you have to report it. We probably will need to put more information out there. This plan, while it is new as a formal plan, is something that the city has been, something we already been doing. We haven't been doing the inspections. That's why the DNR told us, hey, you need a plan and do the inspections. But it's something we can for sure put something out there for education.
And I think, and one thing that we hadn't talked about, and it dawned on me as we were sitting here, as we go through the process of approval of the ordinances that would put the subdivision plan into place, we would need to reach out, I think probably communicate to all of the subdivisions that this is a new ordinance. Here's what the requirements will be. This is what your part will be in that. So outlining it in that way. So direct communication to the homeowners associations.
and contractors as well, I mean, when they contract.
There will be an education,
Yeah.
yeah, contractors
Exactly.
contractors are
Yeah.
required to do it in a number of places, it's
So would
whether
you
they follow
hold a
those rules.
specific meeting then with all the HOAs, maybe here just to have like the HOA boards come here for a meeting, or would you
Come up with
set
how
with?
we Get all the information out yet, but part of our permit is education and outreach to the community. So we'll be following up on that, but we've got to get the first steps going. You know, it's not like we're gonna go out there and start enforcing these things tomorrow or even in 6 months, because people need to know what's going on and how to do it. So there's a lot of education. Stormwater has become, you think water, sewer, and street. No, stormwater is a big infrastructure that we have to start taking care of, and it's just coming down. Now that we passed the 10,000 threshold, we jump into that next group.
Yeah.
So we have to start doing some of these things, but there'll have to be a whole education component. We'll do that through, we'll have to have a whole stormwater page, which we have started, but all this stuff will be out there and we'll have to get information out.
No, it's just my mind just starts going this way. So
Hey,
I'm
Jack, I
going
think
this
we've
way.
only had one new subdivision since we hit 10,000 that has a detention pond, right? Eagle Ridge.
Well, yes, yes. it's the other one is-
Yeah.
Diamond Creek, but it was approved ahead of time. They both have this.
In all future developments. we will do
Yeah.
aware of this.
Harbor Lakes and Hills of Shannon are the biggest ones, but they were
Part of the plan.
20 years
planning
ago.
process, So that's what's going through the planning. commission.
On
Yeah.
on the detection piece, can you walk me through that again? I mean, I read it, but I was still just, as far as if it's detected, especially downstream, right? As far as following it back up, I mean, it talked about there's a detection
Oh, detection.
process, but yeah, how, what is that a little bit more in detail? What, how do you go detect, just look for it or?
Chuck's got guys that walk the creek, just
Is
like we
that-
found the bridge.
Riddles? I mean, really, what,
Yeah.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
So there is, as part of the permit, we have dry weather screening. So we have identified in the GIS system all our outfalls. It will be like the last exit of the stormwater that goes to the creek. And it's actually waters of the state. If they are not water of the state, DNR doesn't pay much attention to it. So we have identified all of them. I believe we have less than 70, but they are that much. So our inspectors will pick the ones that we have labeled priority, that we think that are more likely to have something on them. And they will just screen them, like literally walk by and see if there is something running. In dry weather, there shouldn't be anything. So if we see some foam or paint or something that shouldn't be in there, we will identify it. The other way to detect it is by somebody from parks or somebody mowing, and if they see something by the creek or near an outfall, they will be able to let us know.
Yeah.
And the third one will be residents. If somebody is just walking by, or even if they see by their neighborhood in an inlet, if there is something pink, red, or solid or concrete, because it's not just liquid, could be solids, they should notify us. And that's the piece of the ordinance that we are modifying. Staff, of course, will let us know because we are going to train them, but we want to make sure that residents are also aware that they have to let us know.
And what about the Corps? I mean, the Army Corps, are they involved any in this as far as with, if any of the water's going onto their property or, I mean, eventually it's going into their property, but are they involved in any of this as far as reporting or remediation or?
I would imagine that they already have something similar in place because that lake is considered water of the state. So that's super protected. So anything going in there or anything that we can put in there, they will care about. So
Okay.
I believe they have already a plan. They probably have a similar, not maybe through DNR, but they have something similar, I'm sure.
And we have an ongoing relationship with the Corps. When there are situations that arise, they will notify us of something, if something is amiss in any way. And as Myra said, they've had the MDNR requirements and waters of the state requirements far longer than what we have. So they communicate with us when there are those issues.
And Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, all of our businesses drain to the creeks, not the lake. Yeah, so,
Okay.
Very far south and east of the. Eventually go up into it, because
Yeah.
it's that far that-
right, but as far as the 169 corridor, we're gonna find that in the creeks, if somebody's got a bunch of soap rolling out down the storm drain, we're gonna see it.
Stays away from the corners.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Myra, I, I appreciate the exempt non-stormwater discharges. I just think it's important when we get to the education piece that we explain some of those differences. For example, car washes have systems within that capture and reuse and everything. But I just saw that, so I appreciate that. Also, I think it's just educating those who live along rivers and streams that may water their livestock. We do. And oftentimes I will look at the water and I'll just take a glance. So I think it's important if they see things to report it because it's a serious deal. I mean, it can have effects. Somebody that's dumping a can of whatever down their drain, they may not think it's a big deal, but it can be a very big deal.
Yes, we'll make sure we put more stuff out there in the newsletters and on the website.
thank you.
And the communication effort it will be a large piece of that. This the work that Myra and Chuck have been doing over the last several months in response to the MS4 inspection and just this process in general as we grow is one of the things that happens as we become a larger organization, larger community. And that outreach will occur. But the first steps here are what we bring you tonight, and we'll continue to work up that communication plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the work session.
Mayor, make
Yep.
a motion to adjourn the work session.
Thank you. To have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of adjourning the work session, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. We got 5 minutes till the next one. Take a break.
To YouTube.